Welcome to the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project. It is I, Captain Logan, and joining me tonight, as always, is my sidekick, Austin.
How's it going?
And we've got my son this time, Jayson, who I invited on the program because he really likes Sam Raimi as a director and is a fan of the Evil Dead movies, but had never seen Darkman. So he watched this movie with me this week and wanted to come on and chat with us about it.
That's what we're talking about.
Here we are, Darkman, 1990. Shockingly, I didn't have a copy of this. I had to run out and get the trilogy. And I mean, I didn't have to get the trilogy, but that's what they had, and I was like, well, I got to do the other movies later anyway, and it was $6, so there we were. This is actually available suddenly on 4K now if you want it that way. I opted just for the DVDs, at least for now. I might upgrade later on, but yeah, so finally I own this. Austin, I have no idea how I watched this for the Rewind years ago. Like, I don't know, maybe I borrowed it from Vince. I have no idea, but I thought I had it, and Jayson and I sat down to watch it. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't get it.
You went down to your local Blockbuster Video and then picked it up.
Dude, even when I started Rewind, we didn't have those anymore.
Oh.
Oh. Or at least there were very few left at that point, if there were any at all. And Austin, your first experience with this is relatively recent as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, only in, what, the last 2-3 years, I think? This is a movie I've owned, though, for, like, I don't know, like a good, 8 years, and just for whatever reason, it just sat on my shelf, and I never got around to it. Now I have that with the Quick of the Dead, so I just have that with Sam Raimi films I haven't gotten to yet. That's his Western movie.
Well, I was going to say, I kind of, and I forgot he made that. I always think of you as kind of a Sam Raimi fan, so I'm surprised that you never thought to go sit down and watch that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a movie I always wanted to, and just for whatever reason, I just never got around to it. Because I do like Sam Raimi quite a bit.
My first experience with this was for the Rewind. I had never seen it before and was impressed with it, although the score I gave it is lower than I feel like I would probably give it now. Like, I feel like I appreciate this movie and maybe even understand it a little bit better. I didn't go back and listen to my old video for this. I don't usually do that. But if memory serves, there are a couple of thoughts, of pieces of analysis I came up with watching it this time that I don't think I mentioned before, that I felt kind of silly for not having come up with back then. But some of my newfound enjoyment for this just is experience now, seeing the ways in which it influences his work later on.
My first experience.
Oh yeah.
My first experience with this was yesterday. So.
That's great. No, I mean, this is very much, I think, the prototype to Spider-Man in a lot of ways. Not that this is, exactly the flavor of Spider-Man, but you can see some of that. And it's part of that interesting thing where Sam Raimi has made a superhero film in 3 distinctly different eras, and he's both a very particular type of director, and he also just kind of seeps into whatever is going on right then.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And they all have similarities and differences, of course. And even though Spider-Man is overall a more light-hearted kind of movie than either the first or the third movie franchise, however you want to look at it, because obviously with Spider-Man he made 3 of them, but there's still a bunch of Darkman in that, and particularly in specific shot compositions and stuff. There's a shot I'll point out in Darkman that is almost picture perfect. The alleyway shot in Spider-Man 2 when he puts his costume in the trash can when he has a Spider-Man No More moment. I think there's about the same amount of water on the ground when it's raining. It's crazy how close that shot is.
To the point that there's a DNA shot in this movie that is in Spider-Man, and it's not like he recreated that shot. It's they took that shot and then put it in Spider-Man.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That's great. We'll go ahead and get into the movie here in a second, but I also wanted to mention, I think part of the reason that I like this more now, because Dan's Den, or I think it was Dan's Den, yeah, and welcome everybody, thanks for watching live, says he remembered my original video was kind of negative on the film. I think I watched it too early, and that's not to say that there's a lot of prerequisite for this movie. I could see a person being introduced to some of the kinds of influences that this movie has, and if it tickles their fancy, they would then appreciate all the other things that this influenced. But I'm not a big pulp guy in the first place. I'm not a big monster guy in the first place, and I think I had to see some other things in the genre before I really got what he was doing with this. And I'll talk about this as we go, but and I don't remember exactly where this fell in the sequence, but I know I reviewed this well before I did RoboCop, and RoboCop gives me a much different appreciation of this movie, and I'll talk about why as we go through, but I was picking up on a lot of RoboCop with this. I also might have reviewed this before I did The Crow, I can't remember, but the big clear whether they were influencing this movie or not, and this is only 3 years after RoboCop, it's hard to imagine that there wasn't a little bit of that in his head.
What, 4 years before The Crow?
Just a couple of years before The Crow, but his stated references or influences with this, of course, are like the Universal monster movies and Swamp Thing is one, and some things like that.
It's very Swamp Thing.
Yeah, it's very Swamp Thing. I also did that on the old Rewind. But the big ones for me were RoboCop and The Crow and The Shadow, which he was originally what this was supposed to be. Sam Raimi wanted to make a Shadow movie, couldn't do that because the rights were with a different studio, I think, and he decided to make up his own character, and that's how this ended up happening. And then The Shadow gets made, of course, a couple years after this.
Isn't The Shadow like 92?
I think it's 92 or 93.
Yeah.
I forget now. And so this has that that like prototypical superhero and pulp hero thing that Austin and I have done lots of movies on now for this program, and all around this time, all kind of this period. But this one happens to not be released by not Lionsgate. What is that company that put out so many of those, Austin, that we're always making fun of? That had like The Mask and Mystery Men and
New Line.
New Line, yeah. It's shocking this isn't a New Line movie.
Yeah, well, and with Raimi too, like speaking to the Shadow thing, he's got like an interesting list of superhero films he either tried to or like came close to making.
Yeah.
Like I think he almost made a Thor movie in the 90s, and I know he really wanted to make Batman. So he definitely, there is like a list of things that he could have done.
Yeah, and Batman's an obvious reference or influence, of course, and this is, somebody just mentioned, I guess Dan's Den again, post 89, but interestingly, this is being made like just after that comes out in the theater. So I mean, this is like like I can't say there's not any influence from that movie, particularly in soundtrack, of course. And we'll talk about that. But if Sam Raimi is thinking about that at all, he's got to be doing it just on set, because that script is completely finalized by the time 89 is out in the theater, almost certainly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, anyway, that was my review. And
good night, everybody.
And now let's watch the movie. All right, so this one's an hour and a half long. We've got 3 of us here. We'll get to as many points and ideas as we can, and get ready to press play when I say now. Get your DVD, your Blu-ray, however you want to watch it. Timestamp 0. This is not currently streaming for free anywhere. You can rent it on YouTube or Amazon for between $3.50 $4, and that's what I had to do the other day. So that we could watch it when I needed to watch it, and then I went out and I bought this. So I've spent more money this week on Darkman than I needed to, but you know.
Now you can finally watch Darkman: The Return of Durant.
Yeah, and then you know
about, dude.
Yeah, but the third movie has a great title, and I've heard it's awful.
And it makes me not want to watch it, because I don't want to watch it and be like, a movie this with a title this good shouldn't be this bad.
Yeah, it's called
like what I have with Octopussy.
It's called Die Darkman Die, and you're like, there's no way that lives up to that. Mm-hmm, I'm disappointed that The Return of Durant isn't called The Return of Robert G. Durant.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the third movie's title is actually German for The Darkman The.
I forgot about that joke. Austin has said that joke to me no fewer than 3 times, and I'm blindsided by it every single time.
Because anytime you say "die something die," it's the only thing you can follow up with.
The Darkman. All right, here we go. Everybody, get ready to press play. I'm just about to do it, and we're gonna watch some Darkman. Everybody, please press play right now. I'm sorry. Start over, everybody. That didn't work. That didn't work.
Oh no!
I've got a different setup here, and I was not aimed well enough at my machine. Are you ready, Austin? Apologies,
let's
there,
do
man. Let's do it again. Everybody, please press play right now. There we go.
Yay.
Nailed it.
It's the classic Universal logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I don't know if I said this in the old rewind, but one thing I love about this movie is that Darkman is essentially a new Universal monster.
Yes, which is interesting, because one thing that I've always wondered is, because Creature from the Black Lagoon is like way later than the other Universal monster movies, and that's in the 50s, so it's in another decade. And I've always wondered, like, could we have come back and like every decade like added a new one?
That would.
So
really
I feel like
cool.
that's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm.
And of course, with Darkman, it's a little odd because there's so much influence, like I said earlier, in him from specific monsters. So like,
yes,
he's a little derivative.
He couldn't have been one, but
no,
yeah,
he couldn't have been one. But it's fun. Universal made it, is all I'm saying.
Mm. No, absolutely.
Like, what monsters does he remind you the most of, Universal or otherwise, Austin? We mentioned Swamp Thing.
Oh, I mean, it's Phantom of the Opera. There's probably a bit of the Wolfman in him. I guess of the actual Universal monsters themselves, it's probably those. Oh, and the Invisible Man, obviously, because of the bandaging.
Yeah.
Yeah. What am I saying? Yeah. No, those are the.
Well, and it's just a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Jekyll and Hyde too.
Yeah. And then there's a little bit of Frankenstein's monster in it, just in the super science of the whole thing.
I love this black guy. He's awesome.
Who is the better black guy in this movie, though? This guy or the one later in the helicopter that's dubbed by Sam Raimi? It's just like a black guy. He's like, "Oh, we got to turn our helicopter around." Like, the voice doesn't fit at all.
I knew Raimi did some dubbing with this, as does Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell actually dubs various characters and Darkman himself in places.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Well, because Sam Raimi wanted him to be Darkman, is my understanding, and the studio was like, no.
They said he wasn't big enough to sell it. They wanted bigger names, and at the time, their star is not a huge name, but he's been in more stuff that more people have seen. So I can still kind of see why they went for Liam Neeson instead.
Well, I guess while we're talking about it, we can just get out that I think it was kind of a mess getting this movie made. Like,
It
isn't there a whole
absolutely
thing
was.
too, where Sam Raimi was like knocked out of the editing room and then he like snuck in to re-edit it?
So that's not what I've read, but there was a lot of turmoil,
Okay.
particularly with editing. So it's even weirder than that, Austin. So the original editor, and I'd have to go back and look at it at everybody's names. Let me just say real quick, looking at the scene, this
Yeah.
movie does a really good job establishing its tone right away and saying if you don't want something too weird and out there, you should leave now, which I
Yeah.
really appreciate.
No, we have the hillbilly from Evil Dead 2 with a fake leg.
Yeah, because Universal asked Sam Raimi to not make this look too much like Evil Dead, and he agreed that it needed to have its own affect. But of course, he's employing a lot of the same like filmmaking tactics and push-ins, just like weird shot compositions and things, and it still definitely has its own flavor. But it's still very much a Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah.
And like I think this opening scene is one of the weirder things in the whole movie. Like I think it sobers up after this a little bit.
To a degree. Because we also do get weird.
Wait, there are just cars that fly out of boxes.
I don't mean through the whole movie. I just mean immediately after this, you're kind of lulled into a false sense of security where I guess he got that out of his system.
Well, it's because all the crime stuff is the weird.
And of course, you got to have the one
weird
with the eye
aspect.
patch.
Dan Stan, this
Of
was Sam
course.
Raimi's first major studio film. Yeah, and he talks a lot in interviews and things. There's not a director commentary for this, unfortunately, but
that's too
or that I
bad.
was able to find. But I've heard him talk about how liberating it was to have this big of a budget finally, and to do less of the work that is usually intended to be done by other professionals. So he's like, oh, I have like professional like lighting and cinematography and everything. I didn't realize how much Bruce Campbell did behind the scenes in the Evil Dead movies. Like it sounds like he's behind the camera doing lots of stuff in those movies, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, his autobiography is like one half autobiography, one half like guide on how to make your own movies.
That's really cool. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, guerrilla filmmaking. Like they were making movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the one I just made. It's just a few guys doing everything.
Well, to the point where in the original Evil Dead, like they are using a real shotgun.
Oh my god.
Like, they're just a bunch of kids in the woods. Like they don't know better.
But yeah, this movie has 4 times the budget of Evil Dead 2. And it's still only a $14 million picture.
Yeah, and I mean, he squeezes every dollar out of it.
Yeah, yes, he does. Well, and the contemporary reviews were very favorable about that specifically, just talking about how good the thing looks. I mean, especially compared to his earlier movies. But I think it was a lot of like, oh look, Sam Raimi can like, he really is a good filmmaker. You put him on a major motion picture, and he knows what to do with that kind of money. And like maybe he could be a Tim Burton or something if somebody gave him, the resources to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and these credits are like right out of Evil Dead 2 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can tell, folks, if you haven't seen this movie before, Danny Elfman comes in and just does the '89 score again. Except Darkman does have his own theme that is kind of skirting around '89 a little bit, but it's at least like separate enough. But there are a lot of stings and beats and melodies that sound just like '89 or like really close. And what's strange is, for a long time, I thought this movie came out just a year or two before '89 because the score sounds prototypical for '89. Like it sounds like he refines this score to make '89. That's backwards. He does '89 and then he just kind of rips himself off and does sort of a more generic sounding score. And this is a fine score, but it's very distracting if you know '89 as well as I do. Listen to the music through this scene, and it's just Axis Chemicals again.
No, it's very 89, but there's also a lot of parts where you can see the prototype for Spider-Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's quite a bit of that in there too.
There's one scene in particular, I'll point it out if I remember, Austin, that where it's a perfect blend of 89 Returns and Spider-Man 1, and it's very strange. My head explodes.
Beautiful.
But you hear the percussion in this bit with the xylophone? Like that's just Axis Chemicals again.
Yeah. No, I could just see myself playing the Lego Batman level.
So before we get too far, let me talk about editing again.
Yes.
This is a movie that you end up talking more about editing than a lot of things, because that's what almost killed it and ends up saving it. It's kind of fascinating. So the original edit for this was had previous screenings that had apparently the worst scores that Universal had ever had. And the people that saw it called it, their preview screening guinea pigs. Some of them called it the worst movie they had ever seen, and the editor kept trying to fix it and left after a nervous breakdown. And they kept re-editing it. They had different people come in, and they finally had an edit that the studio seemed happy enough with. And then the producer and a new editor, who ends up being Sam Raimi's main editor for most of his movies after it, go off secretly, do their own edit, and then and they do that behind Universal's back, and then that's the one that they end up putting out, and Universal was super pissed, and even Raimi didn't know about it. So it wasn't that Raimi was kicked out of the editing room, it's that they did it even without his blessing.
Okay, so it was even around them.
And ended up with the what seems like probably the better cut of the movie. And if Universal had known about it, we may not have gotten as good of a version as we got. I don't know how. Maybe it was just 11th hour, and Universal didn't have enough time to get it changed. I don't know, but somehow
I think that's usually
passed,
how stuff like that happens,
and it got put out, and thank God it did. But they added like 9 minutes of footage back into it that had been cut by that point, and I wonder how shot to hell it would have been if we lost those 9 minutes. I wonder how important that stuff was.
Yeah, or just how much of like the style was taken out of it. Like I could see it being stuff like that. The personality in it.
Well, because there was an earlier director or editor that was trying to get like the most stylish artistic stuff put back in it that was lost for that horrible screen one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Anyway, it's very interesting. But that last editor was Bob Miralowski, who edits most of Raimi's movies after this. So one plot point that I struggle with this movie, Austin, and I'm not sure why this choice was made. I just don't feel like it's necessary, but I want you to argue with me if you disagree, because I'd love to hear a good argument for it. Is besides just generically, we need a little bit of character drama, I don't know why Peyton's girlfriend isn't his wife.
I mean, I like the character choice though of like him proposing and her being like, I don't know, and then like you have him dying. Like I do like that, and it is definitely for drama, but I don't know, it's something kind of unique in this movie, and like I think it makes the tragedy of that a little worse. Where now she's going, oh, okay, like I did really love him, like, you know what I mean. Like, I could have just said yes, and maybe things go different.
That's fair. I wish that was talked about more. It's kind of just dropped. And besides just she's busy and isn't the kind of person that makes commitments easily, like, like they're living together. They're obviously really serious. I'm not sure. Like I don't feel like we're given enough of a character reason for why she doesn't accept, why she doesn't want to marry him. There could be something more concrete with that. It just feels like like I said, kind of just we need some character drama. And then I feel like I could have been won over on it if it was made more of a plot point at the end. Because I had this thought on this viewing where I was like, what if you get to the end and she's so desperate for their relationship to continue and is so afraid of losing him and fully losing his humanity that she says, okay, Peyton, I will marry you. And he says, no, he's dead. I can't marry you because I'm not that guy. That's how that should have paid off.
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
That's how I should have paid
No,
off.
Yes, that's how it should have patented off. That's one of my only real story complaints with this.
Yeah, I
think
didn't
that's
really
fair.
think about
That
that.
would have been a good addition. I'll say though, I do really like both Liam Neeson and Frances McDormand in this. And this is the type of role that I'm not really used to seeing her in. But she's an actress I like a lot.
I've not seen her in much else, or at least it's coming to me right now.
Yeah, the big, like, my favorite role from her is probably Fargo. She's really good in that. Yeah, she's like a Coen Brothers regular, and I think the Coen Brothers and Raimi all like lived in an apartment together or something.
They did. That's how she got this job, and the Coen brothers actually helped him with some passes on the script.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know they've done that with like other movies.
So they don't have credit, but they did kind of work on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Dan's Den, Liam Neeson back when he was trying even the vaguest hint of an American accent. Yeah, and if you listen to interviews with him, and it's it's not real believable, and it jumps out at you in places, and it's kind of funny. There's a charm to it, but if you listen to interviews with him around this period, you can you realize just how Americanized his accent has gotten now, living here and acting here for as long as he has. Because a lot of that Irish is just out of his voice now.
He has to like growl every line of dialogue he does now, and I guess he does in this movie after a certain point too. But
yeah, he does.
That's something you gotta love that Sam Raimi loves to go to, which is skull faces that like growl their dialogue at you.
He does a lot,
and it's always funny.
Well, and that's one of the things that he's really coming back to from this in Doctor Strange 2 is that face that skeleton face that we talked about when we did the commentary for that has no lips but sounds like it must.
Yeah, and then he talks like this once he has that. Yeah, it's so good.
No, it's great.
No, Raimi's got like a very specific sense of humor, and it's both like darkly comedic and Three Stooges at the same time.
This is a really cool shot. I really like the light on his eyes.
So the lighting choice there is very TOS, with the you kind of black out the top and bottom and you just show his eyes. Clear foreshadowing there, where he's about to lose his face, and that's about all that's going to be left. So Darkman as a title and as the name of this superhero, vigilante, anti-hero, however you want to put it, is like a double entendre, and a really cool one. Where he's Darkman in that he's going to kind of become a monster, lose his humanity to some degree, and have to live in the darkness. But also because of the way the facial reconstruction stuff works, where you've got the ticking time bomb. Sorry, this is hard to talk over because there's a lot of action, people getting their heads busted.
A lot of people get jacked in this movie.
They'll get jacked in this movie. And there's Robert G. Durant.
I'm
I don't know why we say his middle initial every time.
This actor was in a movie. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
I'm realizing now that he doesn't actually really figure out how to keep it in the light. Like it seems like that will be a big thing where he's like, that's a cool shot too.
Yeah.
Where he's like, how do I keep it past 99 minutes in the light? And then he never figures that out.
No, he never figures that out, and that's intentional. That's the ticking time bomb. And the idea is that because if he ever figured that out, he could live a normal life.
Yeah, he can't be Darkman anymore.
Yeah, he gets to it only lasts the length of this movie.
And so he's also Darkman in the sense that when his face is in the light too long, it disintegrates, and he's back to his evil monster phase. And one thought I had this time around, Austin, that I don't think I'd thought of before is the light disintegrating his face as a metaphor for deception and truth. The idea that that evil can't survive the light, and that deception will eventually be found out when you put too much light on it. And I don't think I'm reading that too far because of the whole memorandum thing. The idea that there's
I don't think so at all.
This thing that the villain is trying to hide, that he doesn't want anybody to find out about, or they'll realize that he's duplicitous and he's bribing the zoning commission and trying to get a city built, like in RoboCop. That's one of the big things this has in common with RoboCop, is the bad guy's trying to build his own Delta City.
No, and I mean, I think that fits well with Sam Raimi's kind of feel overall as a director, where it's very like old school in a way.
Why doesn't he get his fingers?
Because they're burned.
Okay.
And so the Darkman can have fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have a super great read, like thematic read on the fingers thing beyond just like generically we're dealing with identity and body parts, right? Like it might be cool if we took that a little further and Durant did something with fingers and fingerprints. Fingerprints being an identifying mark with human beings. Because our hero loses his face and therefore, to some degree, his identity, and he has to keep putting on other people's faces in order to accomplish things, and he's trying to figure out who he is. The big tagline for this movie, by the way, in advertising was "Who is Darkman?" Which is perfect, because that's the crux of the movie. Like, it sounds like a really generic tagline, and the answer to it is, he doesn't know, I don't know. There's a real existential quandary in the film of who is this character at the end of the day. And I sort of like the Man-Thing idea, Austin. Is he still Peyton once he becomes Darkman, or is that just a shell, and there's a new soul, or a lack of soul, in it now?
So I don't get why this is green screened. This shot is green screened for some reason.
I think just to make that transition easier.
Yeah, Jayson and I were talking about this. If I was going to shoot that, I wouldn't do it on green screen, because you would want to do it that way if she was wearing the same outfit. But she changes her outfit, so there's no reason to transition it that way. You just frame it similarly.
Yeah. And
then you do a dissolve, and you're done. Why is it on green screen?
And then she's there.
Sam Raimi has way more money, so we could.
Because I said the same thing to Jayson. I was like, well, think about the holodeck idea, where when you change the background with a holodeck, you do it on a green screen. And Jayson goes, yeah, but you're wearing the same outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Once you change the outfit, all bets are off. You already have to change the shot.
Maybe they just forgot that shot and then they had to go back.
To be fair, it is...
Or just didn't line up well enough.
It is easier to do it that way. It just doesn't look as good unless you can't get the shot lined up perfectly. And I'm not sure how much tracking is in this movie, given that we have some scenes with the same character playing multiple roles. Or the same actor playing himself twice on screen. So like I don't know how much of that kind of effect is done in this.
There's also like all the like CG stuff with the
The Doc Ock scene in Spider-Man 2 comes to mind.
Well, to the fact that they both have John Landis as the surgeon.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Why is he spinning around?
So they can show him off as a cool new hero.
Yeah, it's completely
so that they can do this
unnecessary.
shot. Whoa.
We're finding every way we can to make both our protagonist and Liam Neeson super uncomfortable.
That's
Also,
why
I
he's so
love how-
pissed off. He's been spinning for days. And he's really badly burned.
Like, that's the sole reason that he kind of loses his mind and develops psychosis, where he freaks out anytime somebody calls him a freak. It's just, he's been spinning around too much.
Yeah. He's a little screwy.
This is another scene that reminds me a lot of RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
This is the exposition that tells us how the character is has transformed, is different now, and he's being talked about almost like an object rather than a man right now, where they're treating him nearly like a cadaver.
It's a little different because they're doing it with his body, but it also reminded me a little bit of when they show off the skeleton thing in the first X-Men.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
This shot is insane. What is happening?
I think, is this the shot where we get the Spider-Man? Yes, it's this one.
Yeah,
It's like one of the DNA shots.
There are a couple of scenes like this that do montage things like Spider-Man. There's another one later that reminds me of the montage where he's drawing the character in the Notebook, Austin. And
I had that too.
He's looking at the newspaper to try to get a car.
Well, also that's so Evil Dead with all the just random things flying around on the screen.
And then here's that alleyway shot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's the same shot.
Yeah, so I didn't have that specific one, but I was thinking of the alleyway in the first Spider-Man, where Mary Jane gets attacked. I think it was because of all the rain.
Yeah.
But
And that is
I mean, Sam Raimi just shoots alleys in a similar way.
That's similar, but when you get to 2, it's the same shot, practically. I think.
Well, this is specifically the one where he falls in the puddle, right? Like when he falls and he hits the dumpster.
I think he might even come down with it on a crane like that.
I think he does, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think you might be right.
I'd have to go back and look, but
I'll do a side by side comparison. And there's a lot of Spawn here too, which is later. Obviously.
Yeah, we have yet another superhero movie that does Spawn a little better than Spawn. It's nothing like 1-to-1, but it is very like dark transformed characters, sort of back from the dead. And it's really interesting to compare and contrast some of those stories, right? Like with Spawn, you've got a character back from the dead who can't go back to his wife because he's too mutilated, and there's no way to make him look like himself from before, because in the comics he's only allowed to look like a white guy, and then she's already moved on from her life, or moved on with her life, and something that makes this more tragic, however you feel about the her not being his wife yet idea, is and I don't hate that, I just feel like we don't go far enough with it. It just feels like an arbitrary choice is all I'm complaining about. But what makes it more tragic is she has not moved on with her life, and she's like kind of waiting for him, and not that she expects him to come back, but like she hasn't gotten together with anybody else, or it looks like she could with her boss, but like that hasn't gone far enough. And then when he comes
very
back,
stuck in grief.
she's she's actually ready to settle down with him more than she was before. But not only is his face messed up, it's not just superficial. He is a different person now, and he has a almost disorder, like not just physically but mentally. I was going to say earlier, Austin, there is also some like Marvel monster and horror stuff in this too. Like he's got some Hulk in him, because he definitely rages out like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I wish
what
Hulk
I mean,
raged
Hulk
out like
is
that,
so.
though.
Can you imagine if we did that elephant scene with Ruffalo? That'd be insane.
Oh God.
Yeah, because obviously Hulk is very Universal Monsters, but no, you're right. There's some of that in there too. Also,
This is the most
Darkman
Universal
immediately was
Monster.
like, "I'm gonna go find my girlfriend," as opposed to Deadpool, who will wait like an hour and be like, "Ooh, I can't do it."
I knew you were going to bring that up. But yeah,
That's true.
I wasn't going to until that scene, and I was like, "Oh yeah, screw you, Deadpool movie."
So apologies for spending so much time just being reminded of other scenes, but I do think it's really interesting how much of a prototype this is for other things Raimi will do later. There's a lot of Darkman in Doc Ock. I wanted to bring that up because when he goes to when he puts together like his makeshift like hideout in that, it reminds me a lot of this scene. The lighting outside is a lot like that. We do that kind of at dawn again.
It's kind of a mix
And-
between that and in RoboCop, where they go to that like industrial area in the second act or the end of the second act.
Well, and what yeah, you're right. And what Danny Elfman does in the score just before this scene is really close to that Doc Ock theme. So they're definitely both looking back at this.
There's the cat from Pet
Super
Cemetery.
Sticks put in a $2 super chat. The aftershock took toll on him mentally. Well, yes, we had a whole exposition scene about what this is doing to his mind. I also think it's interesting that it gives him super strength, because I never remembered this being a character that had any superpowers, but he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very limited, but he does. And the mental state thing is very Invisible Man as well.
So, I put this in the kind of pantheon of comic inspired or comic book revenge thrillers, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I want to break this down a little bit further. So it's The Crow and it's RoboCop, in that you have in like especially The Crow in having a character who's been transformed, who can't go back to his old life, whose main goal is to go take out everyone who wronged him, and then by the end, he has to go back out into the darkness. And with the Crow, he kind of passes on to the afterlife. But with this, he realizes that he's not, really human. He's not himself anymore, and he has to move on. And these two movies and RoboCop also have in common the psychotic, kind of intentionally one-dimensional, twisted villains that have no humanity in them at all, and are a stand-in for how awful like the world at large is.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
and I was going to mention too.
Sadistic. And they have a lot of fun with the way they hurt people, and a lot of them have like weird Dick Tracy villain quirks. All three of those movies do that.
Oh, of course, you got to do that. But yeah, I was going to mention too, the actor that plays Durant is also like the Darkman of one of these kinds of movies, which is, I think it's called Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, where he gets murdered, and then it's a TV movie, I think from like the late 70s, early 80s.
Weird.
And then, like as a scarecrow, like he comes and like takes out all the people that killed him.
This is that Spider-Man montage.
Yep.
Scarecrow.
There's the car he wants. It's like, too blue.
It also occurred to me that the character arc is the opposite of RoboCop and is actually more tragic by the end, even though arguably what happens to RoboCop is worse. The ending is sadder and almost more cynical. Because with RoboCop, the idea is you have a man who is turned into a machine, and we're questioning the whole movie how much of the human being is left in him, and he's told that he's basically a slave to a corporation and that there is no person there anymore. And by the end of the movie, you see the man in him again, however slight, and he declares himself as Murphy and not RoboCop. This movie is the exact opposite of that.
Mm-hmm. No, this is the beginning of a monster. Like, this is very much that, as opposed to the beginning of a superhero.
And I'm going to get crap for this again, because I know we've got viewers that don't agree that RoboCop is a superhero movie. This helps me double down even more on that. RoboCop, by the end of that movie, is much more of a superhero than Darkman is. That's a superhero movie more than this is, when you get to the end of it.
Mm. No, this is a movie that like just kind of like squints by as a superhero movie, but it's not really.
Yeah, we count it because of influences and because it's a somebody man movie and because it's just after 89 and it's got a lot of that DNA. It's a superhero movie as much as something like Blade is, but even that feels more like one just because that's a Marvel character. This being an original character, it would be really easy to say, it doesn't count.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, influences make you want to count it. The fact that he wanted to make a Shadow movie, and he made this instead.
Mm-hmm.
And he's similar to the Shadow in how morally ambiguous he is.
Yeah. Well, and, like we said, like I can also see so much Swamp Thing in this, and it makes me really want to see a Sam Raimi directed Swamp Thing, which is something I've never really thought of as a pairing. But
yeah,
I think he would be great for that.
I wanted to mention that with Ted Raimi and with your main villain, with Durant, one kind of motif we're doing with this movie is slight and unexpected.
Did we disconnect?
Uh-oh. Let me call Austin back here, folks. If we can't get him back right away, we might have to pause for a minute. Oh, I hate it when this happens. Okay, everybody, pause the movie for a second. That's a hilarious place to pause. We've got Ted Raimi with his face being grabbed here. Austin, are you there? We do not have him back yet. I'm going to try one more time. And if I can't get him back right away, we'll jump off for a minute and we'll come right back when we can. Okay, guys, give us just a minute. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, we should be back here. Apologies for the disconnection there, but Austin is back. It's his fault. We blame Austin.
Yeah, of course. I blame the Wi-Fi here. It sags.
So our timestamp right now is at 35:49. We had to pause it on Ted Raimi's head being grabbed by a gloved hand, and make sure that that's what you're looking at when we get right back into the movie. Thanks for your patience, everybody, and please press play right now. This is one of the most memorable shots for me in the movie. This always sticks with me.
Oh yeah. Well, if there's anything Sam Raimi knows how to do, it's beat the crap out of his friends and family.
This is really cool too. The like the teeth that's out.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Let's
yeah, it's
pretend
really
he did
cool.
it. He's got
This is such a Sam Raimi
no
thing.
mercy at all. This is that Crow thing where he's systematically going through and punishing and killing everyone involved in his death or his transformation. I don't think he actually kills everybody, but he's interested in
I just
that.
like one guy that he doesn't, and that probably gets lost somewhere in editing, right?
Maybe so, yeah. But that's the big thing that, like, I think that's the moment that separates him from a Batman or like a dark vigilante that still has a heart of gold and is trying to do the right thing. It's like, no, he's a revenge monster, but he's sadistic about it. He's enjoying it, and later on, he's going to ask what has become of me. And he's not going to be happy about it.
And now he's going after
that's why
Brian
he
Michael
says-
Bendis.
He does look like Bendis. And that's why you'll continue to sympathize with him and see him as a tragic character. I don't think it's the same kind of catharsis that you get from something like The Crow, where you're like you wouldn't condone someone doing that, but like the universe has given him permission to get that kind of revenge, and you know he's not going to live beyond that. And this is a good man that was trying to save burn victims, you know, of all things. And then I had this thought too, Austin, and then becomes a sad perversion of the really altruistic, heroic thing he's trying to do. Like, this is a guy who is a hero or potentially heroic. That's like a Han Solo moment.
Yeah.
That's, you know, potentially heroic, who I lost my train of thought, but like I said, it becomes this dark perversion of that. It's really sad.
I remember a while ago too. There was a rumor that the Batman 2 was going to do Clayface, and it was going to be inspired by Darkman. That wouldn't be a bad place to go.
No,
with
not
that.
at all.
No, I was thinking about that on this watch. Where it was like, you could do a creepier version of Darkman as the Batman
Also,
Clayface.
Old Liam Neeson as Clayface, even though he's already played a Batman.
There you go. Yeah. Except he hasn't played a Batman villain while going like this.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that what you basically have here is a villain origin story. If we're looking at this from more of a comic perspective than a like pulp horror perspective, and Raimi even talks about this movie as, you know, of course, being very comic inspired. He's trying to make it a comic book movie, even though it's not based on a comic book, and he calls it a tragedy before it's a horror movie. Like, Raimi doesn't think of this as a horror film.
Well, I think you can see the exact split on the influence in Darkman's design, in that it's the Shadow mixed with Invisible Man.
Mm-hmm. I think this also, if we're counting this as a superhero movie, we're doing this on Rewind, so we'll talk about it that way. If you count this as a superhero movie, it's maybe the only one I can think of, Austin, where the hero frames the villain.
This looks actually crazy. Like, it's him, and then in the mirror, he's...
Yeah,
That's
cool.
pretty crazy.
Like, there are
that is cool.
There are a lot of movies where the hero will expose the villain.
You get some of that in the Thomas Jane Punisher film, but not as far as this.
Okay, that
But you do get a little bit. You do get a little bit of that, but I wonder like how much that would be looking at this, because I was thinking about that a little bit too, like just the way that Darkman's kind of in the background watching people.
And another consummate revenge thriller.
Yeah, exactly. It probably wasn't an inspiration for that movie, but you never know.
I also think it's cool that Sam Raimi gives his actors so much interesting stuff to play in this movie. Like, how many characters... This is a fun premise for actors where a lot of your supporting cast gets to, at various points in the movie, play the hero.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like if Mystique were the main character, but Mystique had just gotten her powers, so she's not, like, great at it.
Yeah. Well, think about all the layers that they all have to play. You're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like they're playing Darkman doing them badly.
Yeah, and, like, kind of struggling with it in places.
But at some places later doing a little bit of a better job at it. And then sometimes they'll have their actual voice, and sometimes they'll be dubbed by him. And we're really smart about that. Because, like, Durant, he works on real hard, and so it's Durant's voice. But then there's other characters that he doesn't have a chance to work on the voice. So then it's Liam Neeson dubbing it, because he should sound like himself. I think we're really consistent about that.
Or it's Bruce Campbell.
Or it's Bruce Campbell.
The world may never know.
But we're consistent about the sound of it anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, I think Larry Drake might be the unsung hero for this movie, because he plays Darkman himself a lot more than any of the other supporting cast does.
Mm-hmm.
He has to do a lot of it later on.
He really is Bendis. Like, instead of writing 8 billion books, he has to play 8 billion different characters. Well, not really, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the guy being Bendis. I'm talking about the guy playing Durant.
No, I know.
Later on, he's going to have the bit where... Although, the Bendis guy would have been a really good egghead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it.
So Jayson...
He's got a creepy look to him, too.
Jayson complained about this woman's reaction here.
She just screams.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's very that one woman in Spider-Man 2, and it makes more sense here.
Well, I was thinking because, like, what if it's just an identical twin or something? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't freak out.
Well,
like,
twins I would scream at twins, too.
Yeah, even if it was a twin... The guy's just sitting there having no reaction to that. Like, any way you slice it, her reaction is appropriate.
Sure.
Twins are also inherently evil.
And then you have your standard kind of money shot of your hero, vigilante, whatever, sitting on a roof. This is kind of like that Daredevil, I'm not the bad guy moment.
And then you have a lot of, like, lost eye shots.
A lot of eyeball shots. Yeah, because the eyes are the window of the soul. They tell you who the person really is.
Yeah.
And again, I love the existential identity stuff in this movie. The idea that your hero doesn't really have an identity anymore. He has no face, and he can put on all these other faces, but he can never be anybody for any amount of time, and has just totally lost himself.
He's become a false face. Also, just, respect to Neeson for having to spend most of the movie with these dirty rags on his face.
Yeah. No, seriously, he goes through a lot to make this movie work. It's a really good physical transformation. Now, I'm going to say something that's probably not popular, Austin, and I don't want to throw shade at Neeson or anything, because I think he's good in this movie. But I do think he makes more sense for the Darkman side than the Peyton side. Like, I do have that thing with him that some people have with Batman, where they can see the actor more as Batman than as Bruce Wayne. He doesn't sell me as well on the altruistic scientist man at the beginning.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I agree. I think he's better at Darkman.
So in that way, I feel like he's almost miscast. But like once he gets to Darkman, like I sympathize with him. I feel like enough. But if I was buying both sides of it, I would like him more. And I think that's what Roger Ebert was getting at with his review, where the only thing he didn't like about the movie is he felt like he couldn't quite get a grasp on the main character in the first place. And I can see it. I get where he's coming from. Like, this character makes a lot of sense on the page, but I don't know how well Neeson's selling the first part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you compare it to, again, RoboCop and The Crow, even The Shadow, from 94 after this, these characters that have these transformations, all of them I'm kind of buying both sides of a little bit better than I am with this.
He's something of a scientist himself.
And I feel bad saying that, because I do like Neeson in this movie.
I really like Neeson in this movie. Yeah, there's something that I was thinking of. I don't remember actually what it is. There are a couple other examples of this where it's like, at the beginning of the movie, like, this character, like, before whatever transformation, it's like this actor was not chosen for that role. It was chosen for the, when he actually gets the transformation.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And I can't think of a good other example, but besides, Batman, but
and I feel like a Jeffrey Combs would have been appropriate for it.
Yeah, he could have done that.
And also, Neeson doesn't do the...
And I even think Bruce Campbell was right for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder what Bruce Campbell's Darkman would look like. Like, I can see the Darkman side because it's basically Evil Ash in Army of Darkness.
Yeah, I guess the question is, could he sell scientist, and is he too naturally sarcastic?
Mm-hmm.
Like, would he play it too comedic? Or could he do the pathos of it? What were you going to say, Jayson?
Something. Neeson doesn't play him in the sequels, right?
No.
No. He also, in this scene, reminds me a lot of the uncle in Hellraiser. When he's like trying to fool the main character. Yeah. He's just kind of off. You're like, I guess it's not so much the uncle. I guess it's when he's playing the dad. But
no, I do think the two of them have sufficient chemistry.
They have really good chemistry.
Yeah, I think so.
And I appreciate that she's not superficial about it. Like, I believe that if he had come to her in the first place and told her everything, she wouldn't run away screaming in fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
No, I mean, she's pretty reasonable in this.
That's what I was going to say. She's real likable because she's reasonable about it. She's the antithesis to the Thing's wife in the crappy Fantastic Four movie.
Cap, you can't say the crappy movie. Fantastic Four movie.
I know.
That's why no one will know what you're talking about.
I know. I just said that. I just changed it. I said it's a story movie because otherwise everyone will be confused. There's too many bad Fantastic Four movies.
Julie, you know how most people wake up in the morning and they get horribly scarred?
You know how a normal person... She's in the same kind of situation that Two-Face's girlfriend in the animated series is in. I was reminded of that a little bit.
Oh, true.
Senior $6 super chat. Who could be Darkman in the gritty, darker reboot?
Captain Logan.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
I know. I think Sam Raimi's talked about wanting to make another Darkman. I assume as a producer.
There was talk about that as recently as 22, Austin, and he actually talked about coming back to direct it, but then he got Doctor Strange 2, and he just didn't have time to develop it. And there's been no talk about it since then.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think he has a new movie coming out next year too. It's like an original movie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's like pitched as like a horror version of like Castaway. So I'm interested to see what that looks like.
And Neeson has said that he would look at a script, but he wouldn't commit to anything beyond that.
Yeah. I mean, Neeson like really hit a second wind in his career, and then it like kind of tapered off.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of the type of thing that I think he'd be good for now.
And now he's doing the Naked Gun soft reboot.
Hmm.
When I watched that trailer, I thought that it was Darkman for a second because there's a scene where he takes his face off.
Oh yeah, and you were like, wait a
It
minute.
could be.
Yeah, how
Durant
Scooby-Doo
shows
is,
up at the end of that.
how Scooby-Doo is that whole thing in this?
Oh, very. It's beautiful.
It's great. Well, the best part, because I'm talking about all these again serious philosophical ideas, and I love movies like this that don't take themselves too seriously and that you can have a lot of goofy fun with. But there's this like underlying layer of like really thoughtful, identity concepts.
Yeah, and Raimi's one of those guys that I feel like, and I'm sure, everyone in Hollywood has some sort of ego, but where I don't really see that as much when I hear Sam Raimi talk, because he's very much like, I make fun things. Like, I'm not really out to make high art.
What is he? He's always Robert G. Durant.
Well,
That's like a Simpsons joke where he turns to the camera and he's like, by the way, I am Robert G. Durant.
right, but remember, that's not actually Durant saying that this time.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
when he's
Like, he always calls himself that, but then in that particular case, it's Darkman making sure everybody knows who he's claiming to be.
right, when he's taking
No,
in,
it's such a funny moment where he's holding the gun. It's like who are you? How are you? Why are you doing this? I am Robert G. Durant.
And he looks
Get into the security
he looks
camera.
right into the security camera.
That's wonderful.
The guy who plays Robert G. Durant, I've always thought that he looks like someone who is, like, he's like an alien pretending to be a guy. I don't know, just the
See-
way he like presents himself. He's like,
So you're saying he'd be perfect for a Men in Black film?
yeah,
No, as you started to say that, I was like, I could see him being a character in Shadow over Innsmouth, the H.P. Lovecraft, where the people are half fish. He does kind of have that look.
So I do feel like there are good potential sequels or reboot for this material. Like, this does definitely feel like it could be a good franchise concept. It even could
Yeah,
have
I
been a good
wonder
TV
what a
show, and it had
Darkman
a
sequel would be.
pilot that didn't go anywhere. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that. That's too bad. You could do that now, though, I feel like. But this is one of those things where, like, I could see it just kind of never coming back. Like, if Raimi manages, to get it off the ground, sure.
I would almost rather see it as like an episodic TV show. Because that premise is just right there, right? Like, he's...
Oh, man, do it
going
as, like,
around,
a
right.
Highway to Heaven or, like, the Incredible Hulk thing, where he just goes from, like, person to person on his, like, travels.
Yeah, he's just going around
That'd be
righting
great.
wrongs, wearing the faces of horrible people to take them down.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea for a TV show.
Sort of like a darker, more like vigilante version of Mission Impossible or something.
Hmm. Well, and you can have your cake and eat it too if you want your Raimi sequel, because, I feel like Raimi would come back and do the pilot for that, like he did for Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. And I also feel like, again, nothing against Liam Neeson, but I feel like that's a role that's really easy to recast.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Like, I'm not looking back at this and going, it better be a Liam Neeson or nobody.
Hmm.
It's fun that
Watch
he
as
uses
I
that
burn
to...
this prosthetic hand.
Yeah, it's fun that he uses that to intimidate these guys.
No, that is cool.
It's really smart. I think that's another thing that makes this character likable is he uses his brains and he's real resourceful.
Mm-hmm. He is lucky though, because it is the fake skin that's destroyed by light. He's lucky that holding fire over it doesn't make it disintegrate faster.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and we really oversimplify that idea, and I'm going to go in the weeds with this, but let me preface this by saying I don't really have a problem with it as a narrative device, right? Again, I like the ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
It's Jayson, it's that Animorphs idea where like you morph into an animal and you have exactly this amount of time before you can morph back, and if you don't morph back then you're stuck in that form, right? It's that thing where like you have this amount of time or it disintegrates and then everybody sees that you're this horrible monster creature. The problem with it, if you think about it for 5 seconds, Austin, is what about the times where the mask you're wearing is in the dark? The clock should pause.
Yes.
But we don't play it that way. He turns on a stopwatch immediately, and there are scenes where he's in a dark room, and the clock is still going. And then when he comes back out, it's not like he's got an extra half an hour or hour or whatever. He should. The clock should keep pausing and starting again. But it would be overly complicated and wouldn't work as well as a narrative device.
Yeah, it'd be kind of harder to keep track of, too.
Wow.
You know what would make this scene better? Is if when they see each other, they go, "Oh my God, you look just like Robert G. Durant." No, I'm the real Robert G. Durant. And then the guy with the gun goes, "Oh my God, there's two Robert G. Durant."
That would be so good.
No, but they both have to look right at the camera and say it.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, he's Robert G. Durant.
But
he sees the disintegrating mask. He's like, "Oh, it's a mask of me, Robert G. Durant."
But like I said, we've got to give that actor a lot of credit. He's great in that scene.
Oh no, here comes
Like
the scene.
when he's running around the revolving door.
Yeah.
And there's two of
them. Oh,
them.
he plays it so well.
Yeah, and what I want to know is if he always knew if he was playing the bad guy or Liam Neeson. Because you can't tell in the revolving door which one it is sometimes, and I'm just wondering if he always knows.
Mm-hmm. I imagine so, because one is the briefcase. So he has to probably know just because of that.
Yeah, that's fair. And of course, that's a classic TV situation. Like, you always have that episode where there's a doppelganger. And I love how blatant it is in this with the guy who goes, "Which one is Durant? Like, who's the real one? You're just waiting for the commercial break to happen."
Oh, it's great.
So this is the big notorious scene from this movie. Everybody quotes this whenever this movie comes up. The elephant thing. And Austin, do you agree with this? Because there are, of course, with this filmmaker, and he did Evil Dead before this. There are a number of places you could point to that feel kind of B-movie-ish or that have that quality. This entire scene feels like it's out of a different B-movie.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. I'm not saying it doesn't totally fit. I'm saying he's got this obligatory scene where he went, we're going to go to the nines with the B-movie thing with just this carnival scene. Because carnivals are creepy, and it's appropriate for this scene.
Well, it has the best shot of the movie where he breaks the guy's fingers, and it does like that pan around of all of them screaming.
And his fingers are made out of latex?
Yeah.
That is simultaneously, like, cringy the first time you see it, and also completely unbelievable, so it shouldn't bother me at all. Like, the man doesn't have any cartilage in his hand!
It's that shot in Harry Potter where he bends his arm backwards after he has no bones.
Yeah, exactly. Also,
that is such a Sam Raimi way to shoot that, where he throws the ball and you get the shot for a second of the ball spinning in the air from the side.
Yes. And Smallville ripped that stuff off constantly.
Oh no. That's just the type of thing, like, Sam Raimi loves characters throwing things, then, like, the tracking shot of the thing flying through the air.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
This carnival guy is just a jerk for no good reason. Like, he's got plenty of elephants back there.
Yeah.
Like, all you have to do is give him the elephant and then just glue him down better next time. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This is so disturbing.
It is. Like, it's just so out of, I don't know. Here
You're
comes
just not expecting it. Like, it just goes to 11 out of nowhere. It's wonderful.
No, it's nuts. But I like that there's a real specific effect we do whenever he goes into rage mode.
Yeah.
Looking at it again here, Austin, I feel like is maybe intentionally Incredible Hulk inspired. Because he's got, like, the lighting thing that happens with his face. Like, there's just a real specific effect we do every time he rages out.
No, good call. Also, because we just got, an F-bomb, we should throw out, this is R-rated for basically no reason, except Sam Raimi pissed off the MPAA, I'm sure, with the Evil Dead situation. Like, that's the only thing I can think of, like, genuinely, for why this would be R-rated.
There are enough F-bombs that would probably jump into our territory. There are at least 3 or 4.
Is there that many?
I think so.
I thought there was
There's one in the opening scene, which makes me think that there must be a couple that I'm not thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
And that is possible. I know you're allowed 2, so it's...
I didn't remember how rough this movie was, and my son Mikey really likes, like, monster things and darker things, and I was going to let him watch this with us, and the first line has an F-bomb in it, and I was like, okay, Mikey, you're going to have to go do something different.
Oh...
Yeah, and then I kept watching it, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, no."
Yeah.
Well, because you hadn't seen it in a while,
dude. It's been 15 years since I've seen this.
My dad did that with my sister with a Clockwork Orange once.
Okay, that's way worse than what I did with this.
No, it's way worse.
It's way worse.
It was funny.
Senior Sticks, so with the skin, if he doesn't go in the sun, then he can work at night, correct? Okay, so technically that's how it should work. But the way they play it in this is, even though they give us that rule where if it was in the dark, it could stay stable, every time he puts a mask on, he starts the clock. Even if he's in a dark room when he does it.
But I guess maybe it has to be, like, pitch black, like there's still lights in the room.
It wasn't pitch black
Possibly.
when they did that.
Yeah, I don't
know. There was the light that was on his eyes, because that was the cool light.
Well, and the question is, like, is it any kind of light? It was just, incandescent, fluorescent, or does it have to be sunlight?
That's what I mean. Like, if he was in, like, a building working, like, would the light set it off?
This is a really good scene, though.
Yeah, and the almost zombie type makeup is really impressive.
His makeup is so good.
It's RoboCop, or not RoboCop. Well, I mean, yeah, that's got good makeup too. But it's Terminator 2 good. I mean, I think it's that good.
No, it looks great.
So, Austin, I had kind of forgotten about the twist in this where the real estate guy is kind of the real bad guy. Like, I didn't remember that this had a bait and switch. Like, not bait and switch, but that it had, like, a, man behind the curtain kind of bad guy. Like, you can tell from the beginning that he is, like, not a good guy, but you don't realize that, Robert G. Durant is not going to be your villain in the big climax.
Yeah, well, that's where it becomes really RoboCop, right? Except, with RoboCop, that Dick Jones is the bad guy, like, through the beginning. While here we reveal it, but it is that same kind of, like, oh, now Durant we know is the Clarence Boddicker,
Well, but the thing is,
the main villain.
Robert
That's
G.
right.
Durant is just a better character. Like, I don't think, like, I don't know. This character is just kind of nothing.
I think this
to
actor
me.
does a really good job, though.
Yeah.
Like I started to make this point earlier. This movie is all about in being about masks. It makes a lot of sense. It's about unassuming villainy, unassuming bad guys. None of and they're cast this way intentionally. None of the worst people in this movie, besides some henchmen guys, look like traditional villains. They don't look intimidating. Robert G. Durant, once he starts doing stuff and talking, is has enough of a menacing look, but he's unassuming initially, and that actor played like comedic roles before this. Like, this is a total turn for that guy. And
Also,
Ted Raimi is
Sam Raimi.
the biggest one of those, where it's like, you know, nerdy guy that like you almost don't even buy him as a henchman while he's being a henchman. He's so unassuming.
Yeah, for sure.
To the point where when he shoots a guy, Durant is like, good job. Is like almost patting him on the back. Like, I didn't know you had it in you.
When Sam Raimi clearly loves the original Superman movie, like there's so much of that in his Spider-Man movies. So of course we have to do a real estate plot at the end of this. Of course that's what it was building to. Even though it is more RoboCop than it is that, but
I just think it's hilarious that his big plot is make a new city, I guess to make a lot of money, but it's not like Delta City in that I don't know that it's actually hurting anybody. Like, the way he got this done was not above board, and he should go to prison because it's a felony to bribe the, real estate commission or whatever. But is he like closing down tenements to do it? Is he displacing anybody? Like,
he's sending Robert G. Durant to kill the people that live there.
This green screen is so bad.
Look at all those crayons.
Yeah.
What's nice with a movie that this relatively inexpensive, because again, for Raimi, this was huge. This is like being handed, Spider-Man money already. But with a movie that's only $14 million, even in 1990, you really get to have your cake and eat it too. Whenever something looks good, you go, "Oh my god, $14 million! That looks amazing." When it looks bad, you go, "Well, I only had $14 million."
Okay, that green screen doesn't look great, but have you seen what Darkman looks like?
It's amazing. Look,
There's a hierarchy of effects.
Helicopters.
Look at this helicopter. There's a black man voiced by Sam Raimi flying it.
Braden says bribing is illegal, I think. Well, no, like I said, I'm sure that's a felony, but my point is, you'd think that something about the city itself would be like menacing and bad, where again, I can't stop thinking about the Delta City thing, where it's like every time you see a model of that, you're like, this is supposed to be this great utopia, but we're losing even more of our humanity to build it.
Oh, I liked that shot too when the two cars came like right next to her.
Yes.
That is cool. You can't see it, Jayson, but if you had that full frame, they also shot out of big boxes before they landed there.
He just went on the roof.
Apparently, Neeson...
He's running on rooftops!
I can't not see the shadow now that you've said that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, apparently Liam Neeson had some input on the costume. And
okay.
I believe he's the reason that it's got a long trench coat.
Interesting, yeah. Yeah, because like I said, it's the Shadow's costume, but with the Invisible Man, like, wrappings.
Yeah, and all this action here is really exciting. It works. It's great.
These pyrotechnics are really cool.
And Raimi's good at storyboarding this kind of stuff.
No, this location, like I said, it's right out of RoboCop. Like this is even where they fight Clarence Boddicker at the not at the end, but at the end of the second act.
You know, I haven't thought about this before. You know what I like here, Austin? I like that this scene. This is our biggest, most exciting action scene where he's actually wearing the Darkman costume and he's not pretending to be anybody right now. And I love the juxtaposition that all takes place in broad daylight.
Oh, sure.
He just looks at
Well, it's because they brought Darkman into the light now. Like they're taking him out of his comfort zone.
When he looks into the camera there, he should have said, "My name is Robert G. Durant."
Well, and again,
I say he should have said "work shed" and then ran away.
The idea that Dark can't persist in the light, that like we're constantly being reminded, and this is the big turning point at the end, the big thing that Darkman's going to have to appreciate in tragically leaving his old life behind, that he really is a monster now. And so I like the idea that at least some of the time when we see his monster face, it is in the light.
No, and it's cool that he still looks this good in the light too.
Yeah, that too. I guess the point I'm trying to make is the light reveals evil. That's the whole idea, and the metaphor I was trying to talk about earlier, because I don't think I articulated it great, is that the mask is a facade, and so eventually it disintegrates because it's a lie. And that's the metaphor for deception. I just want to spell this out because it's smarter than it has any right to be for this kind of material.
It's like RoboCop in that way, where it is a B movie to its core, but you have somebody that's not a B movie director working on it. I mean, Sam Raimi is to a degree, but like he is also like an auteur in his own right.
Dan Stanley's no longer Darkman, he's Lightman. No, my point is that the light brings out the Darkman. It reveals him.
We gotta put the Darkman in him.
Austin, this is one of my favorite bits where he's got a mask over a mask.
Over a mask? Even this guy's confused. Fabio here is like, wait a minute. That was also a mask?
Oh, I wanted to ask you about something that Jayson was confused about when we watched this yesterday. Does he, like, 3D map his face at the beginning in order to try to recreate it, and that's why it's got the holes in it, and so he's got to figure out how to add that back in? Because Jayson was like, well, why couldn't he just take like an old picture of himself? And I'm like, well, I think the idea is it's a 3D mapped head.
Does he do it from
I think
the
that
picture?
is supposed to be what it is.
Does he do it from the picture, or is he already got a 3D mapped thing of himself? Because he has a picture, and then he puts it in there, and then he doesn't have the full picture. But the thing is, you have the back of his head, so that doesn't make sense.
But I thought he had to 3D map it because otherwise why would it have the hole in his face like that? Why couldn't he just go to an old picture?
But why would he have to...
Does he feed
I feel like
just a flat picture in it? I missed that if that...
Well, it looks like he does, but I feel like he should just 3D map it and not even have to do anything with the picture.
I'd have to look back at that scene again.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm having. I'm trying to remember what it is.
And so just randomly has holographic technology?
It's part of that 3D model thing.
Yeah, they should have made that clearer because the holographic bird thing comes out of nowhere. You're like, wait, that's technology he has? I think maybe that's supposed to be related to that 3D mapping tech, and if it is, then that would be a payoff for that.
Mm-hmm.
See,
I do like, though,
this is
the
another place,
hologram
Austin.
is just kind of like that, but then when you get to the real one, it's going like crazy.
This is another place, Austin, where we can say, yeah, the screen's not great, but he's only got $14 million.
Dad was
Exactly.
yelling at the screen the entire time when we were watching this yesterday.
I was yelling at it? I don't even remember that.
Why are they not shooting him?
Oh, yeah, why aren't they shooting him here?
That's what... Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Why don't they just shoot him?
Shoot him.
But I don't know if they would even be able to aim correctly. Like...
Yeah, it would be really hard. I mean, you could still try to shoot him,
Because
but...
there's a guy in there with a gun. Why isn't he shooting?
Yes, this
The
guy.
black guy.
This is Sam Raimi dubbing over this black man. Like, oh wait, let's follow him.
That's so good. And then we're going to have almost the opposite at the end, where the real estate mogul guy, Austin, can't hit a guy at point blank range ever.
Oh, that's my favorite
He
scene.
keeps shooting and never hits anything.
I'm waiting for that.
You know, this stuff's crazy, and it was $14 million.
This is also great because he goes like, "Hi."
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's a great gag.
I could use a little bit more of that kind of thing. He doesn't get to have enough moments of levity like that. Where, like, I get that he's a real sad, tragic, and gothic character, but
He just killed Sam Raimi.
it is kind of weird to only do it
You just
once.
killed Black Sam Raimi. No, you racist.
I love this bit where he walks across the 18-wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, and I think this is where Sam Raimi's car cameos too.
Oh, yeah, because he does that in, like, every movie, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What? Sam Raimi has a car?
Yeah, you know Uncle Ben's car in the Spider-Man movies? That's
Yeah.
the same as Ash's car. Yeah, I was right there. That was like Sam Raimi's first car, and it's in all of his movies.
So he's hung on to it, and he always takes it to set
I see.
for some scene in a movie.
Yeah, it's like one of his big director cameo things.
Of course, he's got to have that cartoonish Gatling gun.
Yes.
Yeah, I just love
It's a
how over the
grenade
top this
launcher.
movie
Oh,
is.
Yeah,
see,
it's
now
beautiful.
he's shooting at him,
Oh, you're right. It's a grenade launcher.
but he's friggin' destroying everything because he can't aim.
I think it's also important to note how early this is in comic book and comic book-esque movies. That it's a little ahead of its time, right? Like, just in how stylized it is. Because 89 got a lot of praise for that, and rightfully so, and of course that's a lot of why I love that movie. This, on such a smaller budget, it's kind of impressive how heightened and not realistic it feels.
Yeah, because this doesn't have the luxury of things like building its own city and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it still has like a very heightened sense to it.
You know what it reminds me of retroactively, as far as that goes?
What's that?
Kick-Ass?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just in having, like, a bit of a kind of heightened quality while filming entirely on, you know, pre-existing locations.
Hmm. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I wouldn't have thought to correlate those two things, but
Some
I
of
can
it's
see it.
because all of your bad guys are, like, mob bosses and stuff. We don't have any...
mhm.
That's
That's like your 2010s version.
made me think of that. So we do resort to the kidnapping girlfriend plot. That's one of the few big standard superhero tropes that winds up in this.
Not just big superhero tropes, but big Sam Raimi superhero
Because he
tropes.
does it in every Spider-Man movie. That's true. I think we do a good job, though, of keeping her kind of smart and on her toes through this.
Mhm. No, I think so too. And that's not something I'm, like against or anything. Like I'm fine with using that here. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely.
It just gets
does.
annoying in Spider-Man because it's every single time, and it's
every
like
single time
What happens every time?
kidnapping the girlfriend.
Mary Jane getting
Oh.
kidnapped.
Yeah.
It's
Even with
mostly-
Doctor Strange, it's not the girlfriend, but you do kind of have that with America Chavez. He just talks her into beating Wanda at the end.
That's true.
But you do kind of have that.
So, I will say Raimi does a really good job here of actually like making it feel like it's high up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Well, it helps that he's got this seemingly unbroken shot going all the way to the bottom. Watching this with Jayson was funny because he was like, okay, this is not necessary. Why is this camera going on? We get it, you're high up. And then it gets to the rebar at the bottom and he goes, oh, that's why.
It's funny too. I don't know if you guys have really played the Spider-Man 3 game, but that's how Venom dies in the game. Is he gets knocked off the building and impaled on those.
Yeah, it feels like Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a man with a mental condition. Leave me alone.
I'm literally a burn victim. I'm handicapped, and you're making fun of me.
Okay, Darkman would win right now if he literally
Just push him.
took off his coat and threw it at his face.
How it should have ended.
Like, he takes off his coat, but he just throws it down. He should have just thrown it at his face.
That's not sportsmanlike, though.
Sure, but, like, was he sportsmanlike with any of the other ones? Like, he put Ted Raimi
But he's the
up
main villain, so now he has to be sportsmanlike.
I missed this yesterday. You almost have, I'm always looking for superhero tropes. You almost have the villain asking the hero to join him here, although I think he's just taunting him. But he does say we should be working together. And in the same scene where we've got the girlfriend kidnapping plot, like in the same way as earlier we have a giant B movie scene out of nowhere, suddenly it's a superhero movie when it wasn't exactly before.
I feel like he did that shot like 3 times in this movie. He just falls down from the. We're gonna get the scene where he just.
She gets really lucky here because I was expecting Darkman to save her somehow, and we just do the standard like something catches, so she's okay.
Yeah, she's okay.
It's Aunt May. She gets caught on the. Yeah. It also makes no sense, and I'm okay with that. Like, there was no way that would have caught her, considering it would have, like, went through her before it hit where her arms were, but it's fine.
It's comic book logic.
Exactly.
Have they already done the he shoots at him a ton
No,
of
that's
times?
coming.
Yeah, it's coming later.
Because he doesn't even have his gun.
So, Austin, this is maybe a stretch, but in a way, this is not 1-to-1 or anything, but in a way, this guy reminds me of 2 different Iron Man villains.
Oh.
Because he reminds me a little bit of Obadiah Stane, and I didn't think of this until a minute ago, but I'll start with him because that's the first one. You've got the like business guy who realizes that he's like all.
Oh,
of a sudden...
this screaming guy is very obviously Bruce Campbell. But sorry, what were you saying?
That all of a sudden you're gonna have to kill the girlfriend because he notices something on a table. Like that's a little bit like Obadiah Stane, and then he.
Sure.
And then he also reminds me of the whole real Mandarin thing at the end of Iron Man 3.
Dude.
Because that guy's been here all along, and then it turns out that like he's actually the bad guy behind everything.
Oh, yeah, true.
He was right there.
He got him eventually.
Yeah, in the hand.
Like Jesus. Now he's freaking out.
Oh, now it's a Zack Snyder film.
Why
Don't dishonor this film by saying that.
Darkman, do you bleed?
But
that scream is also very much Bruce Campbell.
And then he's still doing it, and it still doesn't do anything.
so that was the least Batman sounding this score gets to, and I think where you got the horn work that's a lot more superhero-y, where it's like like, and then right after that it gets more 89. But I kind of wish Elfman had built the whole score around that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Maybe not the whole score. I mean, you got to do the dark gothic stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like when you get big,
Yeah,
do that.
When you get
I
big.
can't, Darkman.
So, do you buy this, Austin? That this guy thinks he knows Peyton well enough that he knows what he'll do here?
I mean, I guess to the degree of like what he used to be, I guess he maybe doesn't know how far he's gone.
Well, I guess my question is, what does he know about that guy in the first place? Like,
He doesn't have
he
any
was
lips.
dating the woman that worked for him, but I don't know how well associated they were. Like, I don't know what he thinks he knows about that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't decide if it was that or if it was based more on just their interaction just now, where he's like, I've been fighting a superhero. Superheroes don't kill people. Oh, I guess it's not a super. Like, it feels like it's really trying to subvert that in an age where we hadn't even had enough superhero movies to really have a pattern.
I mean, we mostly only have Superman up to this point.
And we just
So
had
this
Batman
can
the year
get away with
before.
that more than Deadpool can.
And we had Batman the year before, and Batman objectively kills the villain in the end, and dropping him from a high place, no less.
Yeah, but they didn't know that when they were making this.
Well, they didn't know that when they wrote it. They definitely knew it while they were shooting it. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably.
So when I wrote the rewind for this, I complained that we kind of spell out the tragic point of the story or the moral of the story or whatever by the end. I felt better about it on this watch, where it's more just, and this is a real operatic movie anyway. So I think
That's what I was gonna say. I'm fine
with
with it for that.
away with it fine, but it's the hero more declaring the direction he has to go now. I was gonna say kind of lack of opportunity for change, or I don't even know if you have an honest God opportunity for change, because this is a guy that doesn't think that he can be more than the sum of his parts, right? So he just says, like, I have to go to the shadows now, but he's declaring, his
That's your Batman, like, declaring that, he's gonna hunt down criminals because they're a cowardly, superstitious lot moment.
yeah, no, exactly.
And I lost it when I got to this cameo the first time I saw it.
Yeah, I was really excited to hear what Austin was going to think of that when he first watched this movie, because he asked me if Bruce Campbell was in it, and I was like, I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah, by this point I'm like, oh, well, clearly he's not. Like, that's the reason why Cap is like, oh, I'm not going to answer it, because, you're like, I don't want to disappoint you. And then, boom. It's beautiful.
The last shot.
It's great.
Darkman becomes Bruce Campbell. It's perfect.
Now, the question is it a little indulgent on Raimi's part? And, I'm fine with it, but I'm just asking that because a lot of people that would watch this movie wouldn't necessarily know who that is and wouldn't have seen the Evil Dead movies, and so it would, do you think it watches okay? As because for fans of that, it's like this kind of fun cameo reveal, but if you don't know who that is, it's not a cameo, it's just he's wearing a different face now.
Yeah. And it works
No, I think that
story
makes.
wise, and it works
does it play?
as a cameo.
It works both ways because if you do know Sam Raimi, you're like, oh, cool, like that's fun. If you don't know Sam Raimi and you don't know Bruce Campbell, he just becomes a guy and disappears into the night, like or into the day. But like he's just
Yeah.
a face in a crowd.
Well, something else I like about it on a kind of meta level is it's almost a middle finger to the studio because they wouldn't let him use the actor he wanted, so the cameo is it was that actor all along.
That's what I was saying about like he becomes Bruce Campbell. Like that's kind of what I was getting at.
Pretty
Yeah,
great.
like, in the end, he is Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell could have totally pulled that off. I feel like.
Again, I think he's
Absolutely.
better casting. I feel like a jerk because I don't want to, besmirch Neeson. I think he does a good job.
Well, Neeson does a really good job.
But I
mean,
don't think he was the best man for the job necessarily. And again, once he's actually Darkman, he's awesome.
he's really, really good.
But I don't know if I buy Liam Neeson as a scientist. I don't know if I buy Bruce Campbell as a scientist either. But
I probably buy Neeson
I'm a
as a scientist.
scientist. I maybe could have done it. I don't know.
yeah,
He
I
would
think
just be a
that's-
very sarcastic scientist.
I never gave that enough credit. I think that's one of the best examples of the tragic poetic twist of fate. And it's real classic. It's impressive that in 1990 Raimi's able to come up with something that kind of iconic and primal and almost it's almost surprising we hadn't done some of that yet. In having a character who again is trying to create new skin for burn victims, and then his tragic fate is he becomes a burn victim that has to then use that but can't make it permanent. Have we not done that before? How's that not an EC Comics concept already?
It's
Yeah,
like
I
if
forget if I
Batman
mentioned that
was
at the
a
beginning,
vet
but there
for
is some
bats.
Tales from the Crypt in this. But sorry, what, Jason?
It's like if Bruce Wayne was like a bat veterinarian, and then he turns into Bat.
Well, it's the Bruce Wayne idea in... I know you're making a joke, but it's the Bruce Wayne idea in Begins, which is funny because Liam Neeson has a lot to do with making him into this, where he becomes the thing he's afraid of.
Maybe Ducard was Darkman.
That's what that movie really needed, though, is he rips off his face and he's all burned and he's like, Bruce, I trained you, I'm Darkman.
He's like,
You left me for dead! Consider us even!
True, they're in the... Bruce blows up the building. He could have come back as Darkman.
Bruce, take the effing elephant.
Oh my god.
That's what he says at the party.
That scene would have disturbed me so much as a kid. I'm kind of glad I didn't see this as a kid. That would have really bothered me. I just know myself.
Yeah, I wish I saw this as a kid. I probably would have died laughing at that. That'd be amazing. It's so weird and cool.
I don't know, just like the transition where it goes into his eye and then it comes back out and he has that freaking hilarious expression.
Austin,
Yeah,
where
it's
does
so
this
good.
fall for you? And obviously we'll do our rating and ranking later, but just in what I called the pantheon of 90s pulp movies, where does this fall for you in all of that, where you've got your Dick Tracy, and which we haven't done yet, but you've got your that's the last one, I guess. Where you've got your Dick Tracy and your Crow, and I don't know if we can put Crow in there, but maybe, and your Shadow and
Phantom.
Rocketeer is in there, and Phantom,
So Zorro probably
Zorro.
knocks this one out, but those two are probably neck and neck. It probably just depends on what kind of mood I'm in for which one I would rather watch. but it's between those two for the best, certainly.
Dan's Den Crow has
No, and I
way
would say
more.
this is my favorite Raimi superhero movie.
I honestly probably agree.
Yeah, but I don't even know how to fully compare it to something like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
It's really hard because, like I said, like he comes in different eras and like really fits into what the like zeitgeist of that era is.
We had such a good watch with that the last time I saw it that I will say where I placed it in my ranking, it's not up at Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
Spider-Man
for
2 is
sure.
probably better. But I think it's better than... I don't know. Is it even... It's probably better than Spider-Man 1 for me.
It
When
gets
I like Spider-Man 1 over 2, so it's
the thing is it gets points
would be
for
between these two.
originality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Austin, let's go ahead and read Patreon reviews. And as always, quick plug for Patreon. If you would like to contribute a review for a later commentary, we do these as close to weekly as possible. We've been on hiatus for this for a while, but we're back now, and we'll reveal next week's movie right at the end of the show. But patreon.com/geekvolution, $5 tier, you can put in a tweet-length review, and we'll read them on air for each of these. And at the $10 tier, you can become a Patreon producer, which gives you more perks for the Superhero Rewind commentary project, including helping us choose movies for review. And we did a poll for next week, and we had a really interesting poll this time where it was completely even. I've never seen this, Jayson. Up until a few hours ago, it was a 25% split four ways.
Wow.
Until one person came in and did a tiebreaker. I've never seen that.
Wow.
But we'll reveal that right at the end. Austin, would you pull up Discord and see if anybody's got any there?
I got two.
I also only have two. Why don't you start for us, sir?
Okay, shield your ears, boys and ghouls, because this one's got some wonky language. From
no.
Victor.
Effing.
He says,
elephant.
take the fucking elephant, rating hero.
Thanks, Victor.
He said it. I have to read it. He gave money for this. And then Subject 879, so John, he says, Sam Raimi's best superhero film and one of my favorite Liam Neeson performances. It's still one of the most unique superhero movies released, and I wish Raimi had gotten to make a proper sequel. Rating superhero.
Boy, John's not going to like me for saying Raimi, or for saying Neeson is partly miscast. Daniel Davis, Darkman is the perfect comic book monster movie, a blending of a universal horror flick with the goofy Evil Dead sensibilities of director Sam Raimi. It's hysterical and often over the top, but it's never boring, and at its core, it is a very sad human story about a man's life being changed by things outside of his control. Superhero. Well, and something that seems obligatory, and I should have pointed out, Austin, is that this has that perfect three-act structure built over an hour and a half, where like you can see where the clear plot points are, and each act is exactly half an hour. Like, not everything has to be done that way, but if you got a simple enough story that you can get away with just an hour and a half and not go a minute over that, it's always really satisfying when the story is good. And I mean, you could get really formulaic with that also, but boy, when it works, it's just really nice to have like a perfectly paced hour and a half, three-act structure movie like that.
It's also nice too because of the universal, monster aspect to this movie. Because a lot of the really good ones of those are like an hour long, and some are like an hour 20, hour 15. It's like it is cool they were able to get it down to an hour and a half.
Yeah, and I think one of those early prints that pissed people off in test screenings was significantly longer than that.
Okay.
I think I read that. Justin Hayes, some of the dated effects, which some would critique, instead elicit a charm for me that expresses a love for Universal monster movies through the lens of a 30s adventure comic. It's fun, it's moody, a little crazy, and for me, it strikes just the right chord. Superhero. Austin, what would you rate on our silly superhero rewind scale? Darkman.
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 What would I rate the Darkman?
The Dark. I'm actually surprised this didn't have the article adjective, because every time you hear Sam Raimi talk about this movie, he refers to him as the Darkman. And
the third one did.
Say again.
The third one did, because that one's the Darkman.
Stop that. He gets me every damn time with that.
I bookended it on the show, even.
Are you with me? Isn't it a little surprising the movie's not called The Darkman?
That would be a cool way to reboot it. Have it be called The Darkman now.
Sure. It's not like we don't do that with everything.
That's exactly the way you have to do it. It would either be called just The Darkman or just Dark.
Yeah. That would be if James Gunn did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, how do you rate this, Austin?
Whew, okay. I think I might go to Legend with this.
The Legend.
It's either that or The Legend. Yeah, it's at the very least I think a superhero, and it's very simple, but I think it's just really well executed. Like, just it's got that RoboCop thing where the execution like really propels it forward. And I think it just ends up being a really great example of both this genre, the revenge genre, and just like the monster movie genre. Like, it kind of does a great job of all three. So I think for that reason, I'm gonna go with Legend.
Robert G. Legend.
Jason, you remember how our scale works? Can you rate it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go superhero. It's got some weird crap in it. And for that reason, I'm going a little bit lower. But it's still a really fun movie. And also there's just some things where it's like you're just like he should be dead, but he's not. But no, with all the points that everyone here said, this is. I don't know. It ends up being a really sad story.
No, I think it's perfect through its imperfections. Like, this is not a perfect movie.
Yeah.
But I think that makes me love it more.
Sure.
Where like that's part of its charm.
And it's a really good, just as far as a Sam Raimi directed movie. Like, he was on his game with this movie.
Oh yeah.
I think you have to give it props for having the for taking the risk of doing the downer ending, which is one of the reasons that the test screenings didn't go well initially. That some of those people wanted a happy ending, and I'm like, well, you're not getting this movie then. Like,
that's one of those places where you don't get it.
That's like if you got back to Hunchback, or you got to the end of Hunchback, and you didn't want everybody to die. Like, it just that's the story. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, we don't want Disney's Darkman.
Yeah.
We want Darkman.
No, exactly.
Disney man.
But let me go back to that point I made earlier, real quick, before I rate about RoboCop, where I said this is like a more downer, kind of cynical version of that story, where it starts with a really tragic protagonist that loses humanity and finds it again. And here it's a guy who is clinging to his humanity, hoping he can go back to his old life, realizing at the end that he can't. And but in an odd way, there's still this kind of, I don't want to put it like universal or primal optimism to it, with that light and dark motif, where it says like it's sad this guy is a monster, but it's also good that evil will always be revealed, that it can't exist in the light. And so it's hard to call the movie cynical when that metaphor is there.
No, I agree completely.
So that's interesting.
No, it's not cynical. It's a tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really dumb line though we forgot to bring up where he goes like, "Oh, what about the light? Is it?" It's like that's not. No, it's about the dark. That's not.
Oh yeah, with the scene where he's figuring out that that's what makes the mass disintegrate.
Yeah. And it's like, what is it about the light? It's that really cool shot, but it's like, where he has the thing.
No, I think he says,
but...
"What is it about the dark?"
Yeah, but then
he does say, "What is it about the light?"
Yeah,
does he
why
say
is
that?
it that the because it's why is it that the light deteriorates this?
Why does it? Yeah,
Is what he's getting at. Yeah.
but I think that line is really good metaphorically.
Right.
You know, the point I'm making is, what is it about the light? Well, it reveals evil. Darkness can't exist in it.
Well, and also it's the fact that like also he's like, he's having to hide himself through the paper and stuff.
What?
When he's
I don't know what you're talking about.
when he has his through most of the movie he has like you can only really like see his eyes because of
Like the wrapping.
the wrapping. Yeah.
Oh, you said the paper. I had no idea what that meant.
Dude, I don't know.
Okay. Yes, this is a paper mache superhero, folks. I'm with Jayson. I'm gonna go. I don't know what that paper thing was about, but I'm with Jayson. I'm gonna
I don't know.
I'm gonna go with superhero. Yeah, Austin's reason to go all the way to legend makes perfect sense. Like, you're right. Like, it's not perfect in all the right ways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
No,
still...
it's probably closer to superhero. I think I just had such a good time watching it, both earlier today and now with you guys, that I'm like, you know what? I gotta give it that extra bump.
No, like I said, it gets a lot of points for originality. Like I said, I feel bad. The casting is holding it back for me a little bit. I still don't feel like Liam Neeson is exactly the right guy for it. But I was having I definitely had a more positive experience with it than I did the first time I saw it. Because I've had more experience with this stuff, and I think I just appreciated it more. And I had more of a Crow thing with it. And I know I like that movie more than you do, Austin. But the first time I saw The Crow, I was like, I just don't even know what I would do differently. Like, I don't even know what I would change about this movie. And I kind of have that with this, with the exception of the thing I mentioned with the girlfriend, which is pretty minor. But
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. Like, that would have been a neat change.
I would have had them either already married, or they and I get the point that there may be that it's kind of more tragic doing it this way, but or the idea that I had where he's trying to propose, and then she regrets not having said yes and tries to get him to marry her at the end. Or another way you could have done it, I just had this thought, is they're getting really serious, and he's got a ring in his back pocket, and he hasn't proposed yet, and they kill him like the day before he's going to propose. That'd be the other way to do it.
You'd have to find some way where the ring like gets out and she finds it, though. Like, I do think she needs to know that he was going to propose at the very least.
Yeah, that could work. You could do that in a not horribly contrived way.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this the first Raimi movie to get a video game?
Yeah, we would have been, yeah.
Did this have a video game?
It had an NES game, yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so it would have been. Fascinating.
Yeah, because I don't think the Evil Dead game or movies had games before that.
No, I don't think they got games until like the original Xbox. Make a Darkman game now, and Bruce Campbell can voice him.
That'd be great. Okay, let's go ahead and go to rankings. And Austin, I currently have this at 14, just under Spider-Man 2. Like, I could not help but put it up against another Raimi movie.
Oh, that's so funny. Here, let's see.
Oh wow, you put it over Captain Invincible.
I did put it over Captain Invincible.
I wouldn't.
It's tighter than that.
Hmm.
And let's see where Austin's got his. I'm gonna refresh here so we can see it. Have you already?
Oh yeah, because I only just put it. I only just
Oh,
put it in at the beginning of the stream,
Yeah.
so that's probably why it.
You put it.
Yeah,
at 6.
I remembered last second.
Well, I guess it makes
Yes.
sense that you gave it a legend because you've got it so high, and it's the first thing since Superman that you've put over Mystery Men.
That's true.
Wow.
I mean, Mystery Men is really good, but so is Darkman.
So let's go ahead and reveal our movie for next time. We decided to do a Superman movie since James Gunn's Superman just came out. I saw that today, and now that we know what the movie is for next week, Austin, I'm really glad that we put this off a week and did something different today, so that I wouldn't have had to do a commentary review on the movie we're about to announce the same day I saw the new Superman movie. I'm really glad that didn't happen.
That would have been awful.
We did a poll, and this whole thing is Austin's fault, by the way, because
Because I thought it would be funny to have a Russian roulette game where I put in one bad movie and we see what happens.
Yeah, he did that. Well, and I put in a couple of kind of really odd off the wall picks because I put Superman the musical in there, and then I put in the the recent, I guess maybe it was like 1819, and one I've never seen. There's a Scooby-Doo crypto movie,
Okay.
and crypto's in
Yeah,
the
and that's the
Scooby-Doo
one that I
movie.
was hoping would win, but
Have you done Man of Tomorrow?
We've not done Man of Tomorrow yet. I almost picked that, and then I was trying to be nice to Austin because I knew if I put Man of Tomorrow on it would probably win, based on the stuff we were putting on there. So I didn't do that. But Austin put in the movie that won, which I'll reveal in a minute, and then Mole Men, which is the first. I always forget, Austin, is that Kirk Allen?
No, that's George Reeves.
That is George Reeves. Okay, I always do this. I can never remember.
Because that's the only George
which one's
Reeves
which.
thing that I've seen. Like, I need to watch his show.
You do. We gotta do that at some point. But the bad thing that he threw in for Russian roulette is the thing that won by a single vote, and that is, I'm sorry to say, Superman Returns.
Yep.
It's because
And you've never seen it, so you're finally gonna get to see Superman Returns.
watching
Yay!
that?
Yeah, you are.
No,
You're
I'm
like,
not.
no, you've never seen it. I'm gonna get you to watch
No.
it with me. It's great. What's not to love?
No,
It's good.
I'm going full circle around. That was
It's
my
'cause
my introduction to Superman. My first IMAX film in the theater. I saw the new Superman first in IMAX. Now we got to do this.
Look, it has a lot of things in common with the new Superman movie. Okay, it's got Lex Luthor. It's got helicopters.
Austin saw it
It's
in
got-
IMAX.
You know, the new,
Yeah, I saw it in IMAX.
that new movie might not even have helicopters. I'm not even sure about them. It has kryptonite.
I'm not sure.
It's got lots of things in common.
Superman holds something like that.
Yeah, he does.
That's about all I can think of.
Superman holds the
like-
thing like this.
Because with Return, you can't say that Superman punched anyone. So you can't even say that.
That's true. He did not do that. Does he stalk Lois in both movies? I don't even think that's true.
No, I was trying to think of if he ever gets shot in the new movie. And I'm not
I
sure.
don't know that he does.
I don't think
He does?
I mean,
Okay.
let's
Okay, then that would be
avoid-
something that they both have in
Let's
common.
avoid spoilers.
I don't
but
think he
I don't
does.
think he does.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't remember him doing
All I know is they both,
that. They will do
Okay.
that.
yeah, both do that.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap.
Signature move.
Let's go ahead and wrap up here. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week with Superman Returns.
To be fair, I think that was the only like Hollywood movie. So it's like, if if there's like a person who has not really heard of the other three.
What I couldn't believe was just that it was a 4-way tie before that.
Yeah.
If only that one person voted for the crypto one.
I was wishing for that one person to vote for the musical.
Like, I figured the musical wouldn't
That'd
even
have been
vote.
great too. That would have been great too.
Well, and actually, we probably could have done the musical and the crypto movie on the same night because they're both really short. The musical's
sure.
really short.
Next time we do Superman, we can do that double feature that everyone's itching for.
Well, anyway, like I said earlier, folks, if you would like to be more of a part of the show, become a Patreon producer at the $10 tier, and one of the perks you get there is I will read your name at the end of every show, and this time, since we've got Jayson, and he is a guest on this program and isn't here very often,
Do I have to do it every time
I'm going to
I'm
have
here?
Jayson do it.
Okay.
Do you want to go back and forth, or do you want to just do it? I think we
go
should
back
have
and forth
Jayson
with
just do
who?
it. With me.
No, I can do it.
Okay, Jason's just going to do it. So
How?
just read down to the end of the $10,
Okay.
starting at the top.
Okay. So we have Jesse Surtees, Chewbacca's lover, Dr. Hello, Elliot Slater, Goofster 123, Joe Turner, Joe Gira, Justin Hayes, Super Billy, dun dun dun, Vic Apocalypse, Victor, Abuck Stark, Adam Arch, Serial When Pigs Fly, Checkers the Inventor, Damon Begay, Hot Soup, Kareem Roberts, Kate, I don't know, Matt 68, Matthew Brody, Michael Martin, and the Captain Goon.
It's Kate Blaze. Kate
Okay.
Blaze. She's in our writers group and works with my wife.
Yeah.
She's actually local.
Well, because her name's Blaze, like all I could think of is just Blaze, and it's like I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that.
Zed.
He's in Canada. They
Yeah.
they say Zed.
I
there.
know. I forget that.
They're big Lord Zed fans in
I
Canada.
forget that they do that in Canada too.
And they have the metric system.
I thought that was just.
They do all kinds of crazy but more logical things than we do.
Yeah.
I think because I've seen so many, American things like entertainment and whatnot, I tend to go back and forth
Yeah.
and not really think about it. But yeah.
Well, anyway, we've wasted everybody's time enough. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed our conversation about Darkman. Austin, I am dreading the eventual sequels.
We're gonna watch the sequels, and you're gonna retroactively make this one a legend. After we see them.
Are they bad?
I'm told they're,
From what I've heard.
they're god awful. Yeah.
Oh,
The guy who plays Durant comes back for the second one, but not the third one. But he's in that pilot.
You said his name wrong.
Robert G. Durant.
And he explodes in this movie.
You know what's weird? That pilot is apparently only, from what I read anyway, only a half-hour pilot, and at the end, and it changes some things about the origin. It's an origin, and then it uses some of the action from the third act of this. It's only half
like it
an
just
hour
takes
long,
those clips?
and it steals footage.
No wonder it didn't get picked up.
And she's his wife in that instead of girlfriend, and dies in the explosion.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
I guess you have to cut around her in the climax action.
Anyway, I don't know. I forgot to mention that earlier. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you later. I was
Yeah,
Captain Logan.
see ya,
that was
folks.
Jayson. That was Austin. Bye, guys.
See ya.